Hi, hello! Welcome to a new writing vlog. It's my first time filming in a month maybe, and it feels really great. And it especially feels great because I'm actually filming a writing vlog where I'm writing something new. Yes, I'm writing something new. It was not in the plans to be writing this, but I had an assignment for school to write a first chapter of a horror story. Either a first chapter of a novel or a short story in the horror genre. And of course my brain just jumped onto that idea and that assignment even before we began working on it at school. So I have already written like 7 chapters. And it's only one chapter, the first chapter, that is going to be for school. So the rest of this is just my own self wanting to write a horror novel. And here's the thing. This novel, I don't plan on publishing this novel. I have sent a pitch to my publisher, but I don't think anything will come of it because I don't think horror is my genre. I'm saying this because right now I have written 7 chapters in the new novel. They have been hard to write, harder than Gods of Earth and Ruin, and harder or more difficult. You know, the words don't come as easily to me as with Gods of Earth and Ruin or Project Full Moon that I wrote in November for NaNoWriMo. The words don't come as easily. Even though I have outlined, I have done a character outline and fill out character sheets that I do for every single book that I write. Even though I have done the same process with this book that I have before, the words don't come as easily to me, and so the writing process is slow. With that said, I don't write every single day on this. This is just a fun project that I have for myself on this writing break. The plan was not to write anything new, and if I would write anything new, I would write the sequel to Gods of Earth and Ruin. But since I got this idea and I'm really passionate about it, I really wanted to try something new, and I think if I would have instead gone into the sequel, I think it would have kept burning me out. And I want to have a little discussion about this burnout, creative burnout, but I'm gonna have that a little bit later because now I just want to talk about this new project. So, I've written almost 10,000 words. I think I'm gonna hit 10,000 words today, so you're gonna be with me when I do that. And so 10,000 words, it is a shorter novel, and in Sweden we call it kortroman. So the literal translation from Swedish to English is short novel. I did some googling because I knew that this book wouldn't be the typical 80,000 words. I knew that I didn't have that in me. I haven't written anything in horror before, so I didn't want to have this big massive project of 100,000 words as the goal. So I'm doing a shorter novel. I have a goal of reaching 40,000 words maximum and 30,000 words minimum. So between 30,000 and 40,000, and considering I am almost halfway through, I think I'm gonna reach 30,000 at least. 10,000 words, chapter 7. I have a plan of having 20 chapters, maybe more. The outline is at least 20 chapters. Yeah, I have everything outlined. I have everything planned and prepped to just sit down and write, and the lore and the mythical things, because the book is inspired by, if you have played Until Dawn, it's a horror game. I am one of those people that I don't like playing hard games or difficult games or horror games. I don't like playing them because I suck at that, but I like watching them. So this particular game I have watched the playthrough of many times, maybe 10 times, from different gaming YouTubers. And so this is inspired by that in the sense that there is an old mine in my novel, but it's not the same vibe as with Until Dawn, where there's a group of friends gather at this place and there's this mythical creature. There is a mythical creature in mine, but it's not like the indigo in Until Dawn. Anyway, it's inspired by that, and it's a closed off horror, so they are stranded in this one place and there's a lot of things happening, and I have been having a really fun time with the main character's fear and why that character is affected by the events. Because of course everyone will be affected by creepy shit, but everyone will be affected in different ways. So it was really fun creating her as a character and seeing how she will act in the different scenarios that I'm putting her in. It has been fun, but it's going slow. And I like that it's going slow. So the plan is for today is to hit 10k. And I will be doing this because I only have like 500 words left, maybe. So I'm gonna do that for this vlog. And I'm thinking on maybe filming tomorrow as well. So today it's Tuesday the 8th of March. This will come up after, like in April, I think. because in March I did this whole outlining series on my channel, and if you haven't watched that, I can link that in one of these corners and also in the description below. But yeah, just write, draft. I have really missed this part of the process. I know I always say that outlining is my favorite part, and that is the case for most cases or most books, but for this one, the outlining went by so fast. I always feel like when I get an idea, it is like it takes over me, and the only thing that I have to do is sit down and write, and I don't want anyone to disturb me. And I did that for like a couple hours, and even though the plan was to do homework or the plan was to knit, I don't know, I couldn't control myself. But now I want to talk about creative burnout, and I want to talk about why I feel like I have found the fun in writing again. I wanted to sit down to film this part because, I don't know, I get really distracted when I'm moving around and standing up. I don't know why, but I get really distracted. So, I feel like I have found the love of writing again. Throughout November in NaNoWriMo, I had a fun time writing Project Full Moon, don't get me wrong. After November and finishing the draft in December, I think, I was still having a great time writing, and I was really inspired to keep writing. I had a new idea of a Christmas, like, holiday romance, and I was on board with starting to write that afterwards. But then in November, as we all know by now, if you have followed me for a long time, I got the offer to publish my book, God's Art and Ruin, which I accepted. Of course I did. And after that, it all went kind of downhill when I started editing my own book, the book that I'm gonna debut with. But when I went into editing, I only had a couple of sentences of feedback from the publisher, and I clinged to that feedback, and I went through the whole book, chapter by chapter, and tried to make all of that feedback better. And I ended up making the book worse, and especially the sentences. So I ended up making my book worse. And after that, or throughout that process, it was really stressful during the Christmas break, and throughout Christmas and December, I was really stressed. And then when I got back from the editor for the first rounds of edits, she basically said that I had made my book worse since she had read it, and then before I had sent. Anyway, I made my book worse, and that really, it hit me hard, as I think would do with any writer out there, especially new writers that hasn't really gone through this before. So it hit me really hard, and throughout this whole process I have been sharing everything on YouTube. YouTube is fine with me because I post here one time a week, and I'm not as active on YouTube throughout the weeks. Like, I'm not checking YouTube every single day, and I'm not, of course, I'm answering all your comments when I see them, but since I don't have that big of a following, I'm not on YouTube as much. But with Instagram and with the author Instagram account that I have, I was on there every single day, and I was, of course, trying to support all my author friends, and as well as sharing my own stuff all the time. So I was sharing the hardships, and I was sharing that I got a book deal, and that was all really fun. The sharing isn't really a problem because I love making these videos, for example, and I love sharing my process with you guys and hearing your feedback and having that conversation with you. But Instagram is different, and TikTok is different. I didn't really know I had this problem until I took a break from Instagram and I took a social media hiatus, and I did not check Instagram for a week, a whole week, which doesn't seem much, but it really affected me in a great way. So what I had been doing that I hadn't been realizing until I took a break was that I had been comparing myself and my writing so much all the time, every day, to other authors that I think are great authors, like other Swedish authors. So here's the thing with YouTube and Instagram, because with Instagram I am surrounded by great Swedish authors that I love their work and I am really inspired by them. And the same goes with YouTube, but they are from US, Canada, English-speaking countries, all over the world, but they are not writing in the same language that I am. So I can't really compare myself to their works in the terms of like writing, because here is where I compare myself. I don't compare myself of where I am in my career, if I even can call it that yet, but I compare my writing, and I compare the prose, and I compare the world building and the characterization, a hard word apparently, but I compare all of that on Instagram every single day. And it wasn't until I took a break that I realized that I had been comparing myself and how big of a toll it had took on me and my writing. So I have decided, not really, but I have decided that I'm going to take these breaks more often, and I'm especially going to take these breaks when I am editing and writing. So when I am drafting a new book, like now for example, I'm going to be careful with how much time I spend on Instagram. And when I'm editing Gods of Art and Ruin, which I will begin soon, I will also take a break from social media. On Instagram, when I have an open account and my author friend have an open account and we both share snippets of our work on Instagram, it's much easier to compare. But if I keep posting and maybe not read others, or the other way around, when I read others but I'm not writing anything myself, it is fine. But it is when I am in this creative mindset that I can't scroll on Instagram and I can't keep comparing myself because it's really unhealthy and it affected me a lot. So this social media break has been very, very beneficial for me and my writing, and I feel like I have understood myself and my writing process a bit better, and I feel like I have found the fun in writing again. Especially when I saw on Brandon Sanderson's website or his YouTube channel, Brandon Sanderson, the fantasy author, he has been a great inspiration for me. I watched his filmed classes that he did on a university, I don't know where. I watched that last summer, I really enjoyed it. He's very inspirational, but he announced that he had been writing 4 secret novels, and he announced this and he announced a Kickstarter, and I think it's such an inspiring event in my life, or I just thought it was very inspiring. And watching him talk about the books and watching him really explain why he loves writing, I was reminded of why I love writing, and that I love it for the same reasons as him and a lot of authors out there. Like, there's multiple reasons why I write, but it's not only because I want to share with the world, and it's not only because I want to make these videos, it's not only because I want to share them on Instagram. It is because I love stories and I love making up my worlds and making up characters and having dialogue and action sequences or romance in my books. I love writing because of how fun it is. So I needed to remind myself that a week of social media did that to me. It reminded me of it. So that's just my experience with social media and how it affected my writing. I did not take a break from YouTube because I have never really felt like YouTube has been affecting me in a negative way, but I have always felt like Instagram, Snapchat, I used to have a Snapchat, it's bad for my mental health, it's bad for my writing health as well. So with that said, I'm gonna keep writing, but before I do that, I just want to show you this was a bit hard. So I made this vest, or I knit the vest, and it's called A Holiday Slipover, and it's a pattern from petiteknit.com. She has patterns in English as well, so you can, if you're English speaking, you can also knit this yourself if you want to. Maybe I'm the only one that likes to knit, but here's how it looks, and I'm really proud of myself. But now I'm actually knitting a new thing, but I'm just gonna show it to you so you can get a glimpse of it now. I think I'm maybe gonna finish this in a week, and I'm planning on filming a new vlog next week, so watch out for that. But here's how it looks, and here is where I'm gonna knit the arms of the sweater, and yeah, I have made this. And here's the thing as well, when I took this social media break, and really a writing break as well, just a detox of everything, I began knitting, and it helped me so much because I was reminded of how much I love making stuff. It doesn't have to be stories, but that's my favorite thing of all. But knitting as well. It cleanses your thoughts, or you can think about your book while knitting. But okay, I'm not gonna knit anything more now, but I'm gonna write. I have written some more, I think 500 words. I'm gonna check. I wrote 571 words, and I surpassed 10,000 words. I am at 10,097 words, and I have to just add that many of those words is my outline because I put the outline directly in the document. For example, here we have chapter 8, and under here we have the quick synopsis of the chapter, and it is like this on every chapter. So I haven't written anything drafting wise, but this is from the outline that I just put in here to know which chapters go where, or which event goes where. It was a bit slow because now I am at the 2 chapters before the midpoint, and the midpoint is a big event, of course. It's the plot twist midpoint, but up until then I have now 2 chapters where my characters are essentially not doing anything and they are just walking in this mine. So I need to figure out what is going to happen down in the mine that is going to trigger then the midpoint and lead up to the midpoint and build the tension in the scenes. And the way that I had done this before, because I am working with kind of 2 timelines. I'm putting in this cursive, with this cursive font, some flashbacks, a lot of flashbacks. And it was in chapter 3, I think, that it was 50-50, because the event in the chapter 3 was similar to an event in the character's past, and so it was like a parallel scene from 2 timelines or 2 events happening at the same time, and you get to know the events at the same time. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm gonna do that again, and I have already started a scene and started with this cursive font to write a flashback scene, and I have written some more here, but her past is really connected with what is happening right now, so that's why I have been doing that. I'm gonna quit writing for today, and I feel really accomplished. This is the thing here as well. I'm not fast drafting this draft like I did with Shredder's Full Moon, for example, for NaNoWriMo. That was a fast draft, if anything. And I also think that I kind of fast drafted God's Rot and Ruin, because I wrote so much. What was it? 86,000? 92,000? I wrote that in 3 months. So that was a fast draft. But I don't want this to be a fast draft because I know that my prose suffer immensely by a fast draft. So that's really my philosophy on writing this project. Just take your time. If you don't feel comfortable with a sentence after you have written it, don't keep writing, but go back to that sentence and rewrite it. And of course, we have many different opinions about this. People say that you shouldn't edit as you go, and people say that you should, or that they do anyway. And I haven't done this before, that I have like gone back and read through a chapter again and changed something before starting writing, but I have done that with this one just because I want to get things right, I guess. Now it's like a storytime vlog thing. I'm not writing that much, but last summer I wrote 2 short stories for the contest, and one of them won, which was really fun. It was the first one that I wrote that I have actually a vlog up on my channel. I can link that in one of these corners and also in the description below. After that I wrote a second one because I wanted, you could write 2 if you wanted to, and you could send in 2. So I thought that I want to have a bigger chance at winning. So I wrote 2 very different short stories. One that was very paranormal with ghosts, and one that was kind of traditional paranormal, it was witches. And I was writing from the POV of one of Henry VIII's wives, and she was a witch. The ghost ship won. The first short story that I wrote, I didn't get as much comments on the language. Not bad and not good comments about the language. But for the second story, I actually took my time writing that. And especially the first scene, I really took my time and I really got into the zone, and it really felt like I was the character and I was at this place, and I was careful of writing that scene with the descriptions of surroundings and what my character was feeling. And after that I got a lot of comments. All my 3 beta readers, I think, commented on that first scene, that it was very well written, that the short story was well written. And so I think the best thing here that I have gathered from that experience is that I should not fast draft as much. Like if I'm on a deadline, then I can fast draft, but I'd rather take it slower in the drafting process than later sit there with a manuscript with sentence structure issues and grammar issues. So I think that me sitting here and taking slow, just writing maybe up to 500 words a day, I think that is better than fast drafting, so that I can really take my time and figure out my own voice when it comes to writing. I'm really happy with what I wrote today. It was a bit difficult, but it was just because I didn't know when I was starting what I was going to write. But now that I have written 500 words and I am halfway through the chapter, I think, or a little bit more than halfway, I don't think this will be a 1000 word chapter. I now have an idea of where I'm going next. So next writing session is going to be a little easier, I think. And I'm actually trying something new as well. I'm writing in Word, like I'm drafting in Word, a Word document, instead of drafting in Scrivener. One thing that I wanted to have a quick say about as well. I'm using the 3-act story structure in this, so I have every single plot beat that I would have in a normal length novel, but the fun thing here is that everything happens so much quicker. The hook was like 1 chapter, and then the exciting incident happens in the 2nd and 3rd. Yeah, from the 3rd chapter to the 10th or 9th chapter, we have a build up to the midpoint. And that's not the case when it comes to a full-length novel. Maybe chapter 15, chapter 20, that is a midpoint for me in a full-length novel like For God's Earthly Ruin. I think chapter 16 was the midpoint, but now chapter 9 is the midpoint. So it's going by much quicker, and I really enjoy this. It's very different from writing a short story, because a short story is often just one event. You can't really take your time with each plot beat, but with a shorter novel, you still take your time with each plot beat. Like, a chapter is dedicated to that plot beat and that emotional beat, but it's much smaller and much smaller scale and compact than a full-length novel, which I'm really enjoying. That's just some thoughts. Hello, it's next day. By the way, I just finished watching Brandon Sanderson's live stream that was on Tuesday the 8th, but I just finished watching that, and if you're not caught up on the Brandon Sanderson thing, he wrote 4 secret novels in the span of 2 years maybe. He has a Kickstarter going, and he's going to do a subscription box with 4 books that will be sent out with a 3-month break, so 4 books in 1 year, and you can also buy like swag boxes. It's a subscription service, but I just think that is such a fun thing. And I have watched all his videos and live streams on this topic, and I get so inspired. I'm not gonna do anything like this probably ever in my life, but if this will be able to change the way that publishing works in the future, then that is such an exciting thing. And I don't know if you have been caught up on this. I haven't read that many Sanderson books. I have read the first 2 Mistborn books, The Final Empire and The Well of Ascension. I think The Hero of Ages is the last one. I read the first 2 books in Swedish, and then I didn't continue with the series because I didn't know there was a 3rd one because it hadn't been translated. I was like 11. So I read those, and then I've read Skyward by Brandon Sanderson as well, and that's not in his Cosmere. It's like a whole thing, and I am beginning to be kind of obsessed with Brandon Sanderson, and if I had the money, I would buy a year of Sanderson, and I would buy the premium hardcovers because I think they're gonna look amazing and be a very good quality. Yeah, I just looked on the website just now, and I don't have the money for it. The international shipping was like $140, and that's a lot. So yeah, it's just me as an author and a writer and a reader. This is so fun. I do want to read these books, maybe purchasing the ebooks, and that way I don't have to pay for shipping. And my plan is now that I want to reread all the Mistborn books, and that I want to continue with his other books, and it's a lot. I think his other series, like Way of Kings, I don't know what the series is called, but that book is like 1,000 pages long. That is something that I have been thinking about, and I just think it's really fun, and I wanted to share it and talk to you guys about it, because I feel like during the weeks that I haven't been filming, there's so much things happening, and I just want to talk to you guys. So that's the one thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and then the other thing is writing the horror story that I was talking about yesterday. I didn't write anything more after I talked to you guys. I haven't written anything since then. It's currently 9 o'clock, and I have 2 hours until I have to go into school. So I will be trying to write at least maybe 500 words. Just continue with the scene that I was working on and the chapter that I was working on that I didn't really know where I was going. So I want to work a little bit more on that and maybe brainstorm some new ideas for those 2 chapters. And that's the whole plan for this week. I'm sorry that I didn't do a weekly writing vlog. I'm going to do a weekly one following this because I'm going to edit, or maybe not a weekly one depending on how long it will take me. But I will do a new writing vlog when I am editing the short story for the anthology that I am in. So the writing is going well, and I will hopefully write some more. But I also wanted to talk to you guys about Ninth House by Liber Dugo. Here it is, here's the book. And I have some more left of it. I think I have 50 pages left, and I'm not gonna finish it today, and I'm not gonna finish it in time to talk to you guys about the end in this vlog. But I just wanted to update you at least one more time, because I had been talking about this in my Outline With Me series, and this is still part of that idea that I would read murder mysteries or mysteries to try to learn from it and try to understand the craft of writing a murder mystery. So this one hasn't really helped me in that sense, as And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie and A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Those helped me a lot more than this has, but it was an interesting read, and it is still an interesting read. I feel like now the last 50 pages, I feel like the climax of the story was like 20 pages ago, and now there's just been a lot of chapters of our main character healing from that climax, and there's not really that much happening, but I hope that will change. I mean, I have 50 pages left, so maybe there will be a big cliffhanger. I hope that it is. I really hoped that I would love this book. I have enjoyed Liber Dugo's works in the past, but those have been YA, and this is adult, and this is set in our real world. But those books are YA fantasies, like full-on fantasies like Shadow and Bone or Six of Crows, King of Scars, you know, the Grishaverse. And I've loved that series, but this is probably going to be a 3-star read for me. It is still fun. I would still recommend it if you want that kind of mystery with secret societies, a really dark magic and a practical kind of magic. There's no whimsical in this magic in this book. There are more grim and, yeah, practical magic. So 3 stars will probably be the case for this. And in my last plan with me my plan with me March, because I'm filming this in March, I said that I would go on reading maybe Crescent City, like rereading the first Crescent City book, and then reading, because I now have it on my shelf. It is such a big book. But since this Brandon thing, I may be hopping on to the reread of Mistborn. Also, I need your help on one thing. I have talked about so much, but if you have sticked around until the end, I need your help. I am thinking, you know, when you are finished with a draft, you would like to edit it yourself. And I don't know how to do this. I have tried 2 methods. I have tried printing it out, a very inconvenient way because it was expensive and I needed to use my grandparents' friends' printer, so it was inconvenient. And I have tried editing only on my computer. I need to say, I like the feeling of editing on paper much more than editing on the computer, especially when you are your first revision and you're just rereading the whole manuscript and you're taking notes on things that you would want to change. I like that part of the process way better on the printed paper than I did on the computer, because it is a different feeling reading your book on paper, and especially when you have taken a long break from it. But I would want your perspective on this, because buying a printer can be really expensive, and there's, I think, only 2 types of printers. One is the laser one and one is the ink one. For me, not using a printer very much, the laser one would be better, because the laser capsules, whatever you call it, they last longer than the ink ones because the ink dries out. So I would just want your perspective on this. How do you edit? Do you edit on paper? Like, do you read through your book on paper, take notes on paper, or do you do it all in your computer or your tablet or your phone, whatever you use? I would really like your help. And if you use a printer, do you think, considering it like afterwards, did you think it was a great investment buying a printer? I feel like a lot of people that are not writing have this idea that printers are very useless. They don't have a use in your home, and many people don't buy a printer because they have a printer at their work or at their school. So I would want other writers' opinions on this and not just the ones around me that are not writing. And so if you have any ideas or perspective on this, please leave a comment below, because I would love to hear what you think about it. So now we have come to the end of this writing vlog. I'm going to sit down and write right now, and then maybe knit some more, because I have done more knitting since I last talked to you yesterday, and it's going along great. I think I will be done in a week or so. So next writing vlog or editing vlog, you will be seeing the finished sweater, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a like and a comment, and if you can help me on this printer problem, leave a comment below about that, or let me know what you're writing right now, and subscribe, because I post a new video every week, every Thursday, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!